Schools, places of learning and routine, hide mysteries that many are unaware of. Have you ever imagined that, within the walls of a classroom, something beyond students and teachers might manifest? Terrifying stories and real facts about inexplicable events in schools make us see these familiar spaces in a new light. It's disturbing to think that terror could be so close, so disguised within the common routines of school life. Between accounts of figures appearing in shadowy hallways and events defying logical explanation, it's hard to deny that schools can be settings for real nightmares. The real facts told here show that terror can lurk at any moment where we least expect it, bringing with it an unsettling sense of danger. Who would imagine that the place where we spend so much time is a stage for secrets that no one dares to explain? In this space of discovery and mystery, you'll see that terror is real, closer and more disturbing than any horror story you've ever heard. Get ready to hear stories that go far beyond fiction. Stories that reveal a dark side of schools and may make even the most skeptical believe that yes, the unknown is closer than we can imagine. Dale was an unusual presence from the beginning. When I met him, he barely looked me in the eyes. A simple nod seemed like a monumental effort. Every attempt at conversation made him shrink, as if any interaction was an invisible threat. But what disturbed me most was the feeling of being silently observed, as if he was studying my every move. Have you ever felt like someone is watching you, even when you can't see them? As the days passed, I began noticing his peculiar behavior everywhere. Dale avoided common areas, appeared suddenly, and disappeared without making a sound, always like a fleeting shadow. He moved through the apartment stealthily, almost predatorily, as if he wanted to avoid being seen, yet he was always there. In some corner, watching. When I closed a door, a faint sound would come from the other side, as if he were following my steps without my knowledge. Imagine a whisper in the silence, that chilling feeling that freezes your spine. One night, while I was having dinner alone, I felt a presence in the hallway. I looked up, and there was Dale, just standing there, motionless, staring at me without saying a word. The dim hallway light cast deep shadows on his face, leaving an expression that was anything but friendly. I swallowed hard, but remained silent, unsure how to respond. Deep down, I realized he wasn't just strange. There was something deeply unsettling about that look. The nights began to feel more intense. On some of them, I'd wake up in the middle of the night with a sense that something was wrong, a presence around me. One time, I opened my eyes and saw Dale standing in the doorway of my room. His face partially hidden in shadows, his eyes fixed on me, as if he was studying me while I slept. I tried to pretend I was still asleep, but my heart was pounding so loudly that it was almost impossible to ignore. Have you ever felt that, in the dark, someone is watching you closely? I soon realized he wasn't just watching. Some mornings, I'd find my laptop slightly open, with files I hadn't accessed visibly disturbed. He was lurking, exploring my life, silently yet invasively. Each discovery added to my unease, as if he were creeping closer to what I considered personal and safe. Fear settled in, and every small nighttime noise made me jump. Can you imagine what it's like to feel invaded in your own home? One night, I heard soft footsteps in the hallway, followed by a long, oppressive pause outside my bedroom door. It was as if he was standing there, listening to my breathing, waiting for the right moment to act. I could feel the silence stretching, dense and almost palpable, and the air around me seemed to carry an unbearable weight. A subtle creak of wood broke the silence, and I knew, in that moment, that Dale was far more than just a peculiar roommate. What hides in the shadows can be far more dangerous than we can imagine. That night, the forest seemed welcoming until everything became strange. My friends and I were gathered around the campfire, telling stories, when a sudden silence fell, muffling even the sound of the wind. The atmosphere changed dense and oppressive, as if someone or something were watching us from the trees. Then, we began to hear footsteps, slow and deliberate, circling the campsite. Something hid in the shadows, silent and relentless. Gradually, fear spread among us. One friend tried to laugh, but the sound came out weak, broken by tension. With each movement in the woods, we all held our breath, waiting for the next sound to reveal a hidden figure, a presence. We exchanged glances, and I saw the fear on their faces. No one wanted to admit it, but we all knew we weren't alone. The fire crackled gently, a beacon of light that protected us, but could also hinder us. Suddenly, a shadow appeared in the darkness. Too fast for us to see clearly, but enough for each of us to know it wasn't our imagination. A chill ran down our spines, and someone whispered to put out the fire. And then, in absolute darkness, fear became unbearable. Silence, total darkness, and a feeling that kept us from moving or breathing. Fear had settled in, and that night never left our memories. These terrifying stories reveal a dark side of schools that few dare to explore. Who would imagine that amid daily routines, terror could be so close, waiting to manifest when least expected? Now that you know these real facts that happened in places once thought safe, the question remains: are you prepared to notice what's happening around you? Perhaps the unknown is closer than you think, just waiting to be discovered. These experiences serve as a warning. Fear and the unexplainable don't choose a location. And you could stay calm in such a situation where the ordinary transforms into something terrifying. Never ignore the instinct of alertness, and always be aware of the signs. After all, the unknown doesn't announce when it's nearby. If you want to keep exploring stories of mystery and terror, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. That way, you'll always be ready to learn about the next chapter of real cases that challenge our understanding. Who knows, maybe the next real horror story will happen in a place as familiar as school.